All right, today we're going to, actually I'm doing 2 or 3 videos today, but we're going to do one at a time. This particular video or actually this series video is about primaries, secondaries, and what to look for in troubleshoot. It's just some things that I have to say on a telephone and email, and so it would be a whole lot easier just to show you, and then of course it helps both of us. It cuts down on my phone time and email time, and actually gives you a visual of what we're looking for. All right, I always like to get started. Remember, we actually do sell stuff. We don't just help you with clutching issues, but just remember, we got what we think is the best belt on the planet. Make sure you hit the subscribe button down here, subscribe to our videos so that you can keep up with anything we may be doing. There'll usually be a little link up here in the top corner that goes to our website, and we'll probably have a link below in the description that goes to our website too. All right, but the reason we do this video is a guy will call here and he will say, hey man, I'm having trouble with my vehicle, da-da-da-da-da-da. So I always say, well, the first thing you need to do is take both clutches off and take them apart as far as you can with a clutch puller and a spring compressor for the secondary, okay? And then just start looking for things. And so that's where this video comes in, because I'm not there. I always say I can't smell it, taste it, eat it, nothing. I can just point you in a direction, okay? Actually, while I'm mentioning it, there's no need of me doing the very first part of this video 4 times today, because I'll forget something. So there's going to be probably a weird transition. I already mentioned today this is about this primary, but I'm going to use it for the turbo primary and for the beginning parts of the secondaries a little later today in a video. Again, just to keep me from having to do this part so far. I know, shut up and get to it. Okay. All right, this is the turbo primary troubleshooting video. You probably just saw a part that I'm using on several videos today at the beginning, and part of it was talking about non-turbos. All right, so all of that little weird information that don't seem to fit with this turbo stuff ends here, and now we're talking about the turbo primary clutch. So if your vehicle is any turbo model, 16 and newer, S, 4-seater, 2-seater, whatever, this video helps you troubleshoot it. One of the things is that I've already taken the liberty of taking the cover off and the spring off. We got other videos show you how to do that. The one that shows you how to put in our new little 40 thousandths washer for over travel, you can use that video for that. So this ain't about taking it apart. This is just a visual to what to look for. Like, hey, I'm having clutch trouble. What do I need to do? You got to start somewhere. So here's where you start on your turbo primary clutch. Okay, one of the things that you need to know before you ever take a turbo primary apart is the clutch cover is not marked anywhere with any kind of markings. So before you take it off, put a black mark on it like I did here, and a black mark on the clutch so that it can go back in the same place. Okay. Couple of things, and I'll go to overhead view, is make sure you have your stock. They call it a speed limiting spacer. I hate the name. It's what they call it. Make sure you have it. Make sure that the lip portion is down when it is installed. If I had one that was upside down, make sure it's right. That's part of the troubleshooting. While we're at it, in the event that you have an over travel issue, I got 2 videos talking about over travel and our little black washer, because it'll just, of course the spring's in there and that black washer sits right on top of it. Something else that's been brought to my attention recently, and I had totally forgot about it. The turbo vehicle that I had in here, I was doing the video on the over travel, so forth, had the problem, and that is the bushing in the clutch was pushing out, and I cannot remember, and I'm gonna stick my glasses on this Saturday, it's a weekend, I don't wear contacts on the weekend. I can't remember whether the bushing was coming out or going in, but it's something that you need to be checking. This is part of this troubleshooting deal. Oddly enough, there's a couple aftermarket fans, covers out there, and I've heard they're having the same issue. Bushings are come out as of today's date. I do not have a fix for you. and I'm not sure what you would do, but just be aware of this bushing. So that'll be one thing to check. Is it sticking out either side? Seems like it wants to come out the outside, okay? Overhead view. All right, so the turbo clutch certainly differs from the non-turbo clutch in a lot of ways, and we ain't gonna get into all that. But as soon as you get your cover off and spring off, all right, are my plastic slides intact? These pieces right here, are they there? Are they intact? Do they broke? Whatever, worn? This is a brand spanking new clutch, never been in a vehicle, and there is a certain amount of slack in it. This right here, this amount would be normal. Or your little slide pieces, I guess that's stainless, but either way, are they there? Are they in good shape? They must be there, because the 16 models, when they come out, didn't have them, and this plastic was rubbing on the aluminum and causing all kind of problems. So actually some aftermarket company, and I don't remember who came up with this idea, then Polaris adapted it. So make sure these are intact. Now there is a spring cup, it may fall out when I do it. Let's see, you'll want to push this up. It's a little harder to look at in these clutches. Overhead view here, just down in this hole, you can feel your roller. There's a tiny bit of left and right. Feel it with your fingers, roll it. Are there any flat spots, rough spots? You know, look in here, see what you can see on all three of them. I don't have flyweights in this one. Like I said, this is just a clutch I bought. These bolts here are supposed to move back and forth. They're shoulder bolts. This is a lock nut, so make sure they actually do move. Take your finger, if you had flyweights, this is not a turbo weight, but you would stick it in and pick it up and look at the surface. Make sure it's still in an arc shape. If you've got a dug down groove, whatever you want to call it, in this, then that means that roller is bad, okay? So that's a place to be looking at. Bearing, same way. No turbo has a one-way bearing. Everybody calls them one-way bearings. Turbos all have two-way, meaning they turn both ways. Overhead view, we're gonna roll it. Does it roll? Is it smooth? They are supposed to have side-to-side motion, but not just a whole lot, okay? Just a little bit, about like this one. You want to check, make sure the bushing in the movable sheave is still where it's supposed to be. There's a spacer in here. What does it look like? There's the top end, and of course overhead view, it's just going to be hard to see. There's the other side of the bearing here with a little plastic spacer. Are our plastic spacers on each side of our bearing, okay? Does it move smoothly? You know, those are the things to look for in the primary clutch. Another thing, I haven't seen this as that big of an issue in the turbo, but it is certainly possible that this huge spider nut could back off. Just probably not nearly as easy as the non-turbos, but it certainly can back off in here and cause some high RPM problems, some hidden limiters too soon, and some belt burning. I suppose the only way that you would know that is if this spider right here had any movement. Now it may have gotten water in it and corrosion and been stiff, but if it's backed off, this spider would move some, because when you put this clutch together, the spacer has a bevel inside, and the center shaft has a bevel. It touches, spider comes down and touches, the nut comes down and touches, and the nut tightens. It all sandwiches it together. So if this backed off, this spider would have some amount of movement, okay? And that needs to be checked as well. Make sure your plastic spring cup is here. And I think I said it at the very first part, but if you have some kind of clutch kit that tells you to remove this, put it back. This controls the travel of the primary, which in turn controls the belt travel in the secondary. We got videos on over travels, check it, how to do it, what it causes. Don't go without this, okay? So, and then like I said, just reassemble your clutch back, and again, all you needed was a clutch puller, to check this clutch out. All right, so I'm going to apologize for a weird transition. Thought I was just going to do the turbo primary in one video. This is the fourth video I've done today, and I decided later to stick this turbo secondary in with the turbo primary to make it one video. So obviously the transition you just had is going to be weird, so I apologize to that. But anyway, so troubleshooting a secondary clutch for a turbo RZR is, again, we're just looking at the parts and want to see what we see, trying to figure out when you have a problem. All right, so let's go to the overhead view. I'm gonna put my glasses on this weekend. I don't wear contacts. All right, again, we have videos show you how to take stuff apart, do things, use our tool, whatever. We don't need to rehash that. So the helix is out, the little cover, whatever you want to call it, retainer is out. Make sure that you mark your retainer, whatever you want to call this piece, with the clutch so you can go back to the same place. You can see those 5 drilled holes. That's a balanced assembly, okay? So while we're on that note, let's just talk about that. You want to look at the bushing. What's the condition of the bushing? Has it been pushed out either side? Is it worn any in there? Okay, that looks great, okay? Check the helix out. What is the condition of your helix? Has it got wear in it? Excessive for any reason, broke or cracked, or for any damage whatsoever? Okay, you want to check that out. All right, then you want to look at your slides in here. Plastic slides are held in here with a retaining screw. What condition are they in? Are they worn, grooved, broke? Are they there? While we're looking straight down into the clutch, there's a bushing in this back half. Once again, what condition is our bushing in? Is it pushed out? Whatever, okay? All right, we got our back half off. More slides. What do they look like? Are they in good condition? Are they broke? Are they still there? What does this center shaft look like? Is it worn? Anything like that. You know, once again, you're just doing visuals, what to look for that can be causing you problems. All right, so this turbo, as you can see, let's see, I marked it. Where did I mark this joker? Right there and right there. Okay, so it can go back in the same spot. Okay, so as you see, the turbo is actually pretty easy and pretty quick to go through, and that's why I decided to throw it in with the turbo primary. All right, so this is, once again, these are just the parts and things to point out that you know, if you're not familiar with clutches, I don't know what to look for. Well, that's what the purpose of this video is, to show you what to look for, see if you got any damaged, worn, broke parts in any of these clutches that's causing your clutching problem. So just remember, we don't just make videos to help you. We're making videos to help me, to help keep me off the phone and cut down on emails back and forth, because we're so busy. And again, we're so busy because of you, and we appreciate it. And don't forget, I make the best belts in the world, selling over 1,000 of them a month now. Once again, appreciate you. So all of us working together, me help you, you help me. As I like to say, ain't nobody coming in on the losing end of this deal. All right, guys, if you got any questions on anything, holler at me. Make sure you subscribe to our videos as well, so you can keep up on anything we might come up with. All right, guys, appreciate you.